Welcome to the Awarenezzz Podcast. In today's episode, we had the chance to speak with Carlos Pedraza. Carlos is the assistant coach at Virginia Commonwealth University, VCU, in the men's soccer team. And he also has experience at Montverde Academy, which is one of the biggest high school programs in the whole country. This episode, Carlos basically gave a blueprint, a masterclass, on how to become a successful college athlete, all the way from doing the highlight video to speaking to the coach in that first meeting, to how to succeed in the 40 years of your college career. So when he was talking, I was thinking about so many things that I did wrong, that if I did correctly, it would have made me a more successful college athlete. And this is what I'm thinking for you, for everybody watching. If you're a young athlete that wants to get to college, not only get to college, but succeed at college, you definitely have to watch this video. Enjoy.
Welcome to a new episode of the Awarenezzz Podcast. Today we're here with our guest, Carlos Pedraza. Thank you very much for being with us, and introduce yourself to the people.
Well, guys, Camilo and Matt, thanks for having me. My name is Carlos Pedraza. I actually work as an assistant coach of VCU, Virginia Commonwealth University. It's a Division I school here in Richmond, Virginia, and I'm here to help you guys to respond any questions and help to grow this community,
Perfect. And I mean, Carlos, when I was speaking to you for the first time, you really mentioned so many interesting topics that I just think are very important to talk about. And one of them was the human part of the athlete that I think a lot of guys don't really pay much attention to. So what you like, from coming from a D1 coach, what are the human traits or what are the characteristics of an athlete that go beyond just how good of a player they are, that you see as most important and that you pay the most attention to as a coach?
I think at the moment that you start to recruit potential players, or you start to try to find information about possible candidates that are going to be part of the program, what you can see immediately through a video or in person is basically the level of the player, right? You can identify immediately if the player is a good player, or if he's a player that can play, probably is a good player that can play in a different division, or if he's a player that you see that potentially can go with you. But we don't know how the person is. And this is one of the most important aspects, You can see a person that can be a competitor in the level that you are watching, but you don't know if that person is going to be able to compete in the level that you are trying to bring this kid. Also, you don't know the character. You don't know how the kid is going to face the adversity in the next level. You don't know how this person is going to be, or this individual is going to be in a locker room fully of older players. You don't know how the kid is in the personal life. You don't know the family. You don't know the values. You don't know aspects that are super, super important. And why are super important? Because when you are coaching a team, or when you are part of the staff, you have to understand that you are bringing a kid to an environment that many different individuals have time. How I can say this? Have time, basically creating that environment, or you are bringing a kid to fit in an environment where everybody needs to have the same page, right? And the page is basically make the team successful. So that pressure or that character is not for everybody, especially when we talk that you are talking with kids that probably are the best players in their teams, for example, right? When they are in a youth environment. And then when they come to you, they feel like they can do the same, and they are far away from that. So I mean, you need to find the person that is open to learn, that have the character, that have the drive, and have the competition in their blood. This is the most important. But also a guy that is a good person, a guy that can have a balance in life, a guy that understands that the main situation for every single player that we bring to our team, for example, is the education, is the academic side. And keep that balance also is not easy, right? So the adaptation process, sometimes you guys as a college players, you experience this. The adaptation not always is easy, and at the same time, it's not for everybody. But the personal side or the character of the competition or the mental side is super important for us. The background of the kid is super important. The family is super important. So it's not about only how good you can be on the field. It's more important sometimes how good person you are.
Definitely.
You mentioned just the balance of life. Can you give like maybe an example, like why is it so important to have a balance, like also having good connection to the family, also like doing good in class? Like what do you see on a daily basis, why it is so important?
So basically, punctuality is an aspect that when one of these guys start to be part of our environment is non-negotiable. Also, what are the habits of these individuals have, right? What are the habits in their apartment? If they, for example, how's the nutrition of these people? What how many hours of sleep those guys have? Some aspects that you cannot control because you don't live with them, but you know when they go to the field in practice, you can have an idea how the situation is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, again, the academic side, we control no, but we can see the grades, and we have a academic advisor that is having meeting with us constantly and is presenting different scenarios for different people that need help here, that is not going to the study hall, that is not on time with the assignments. So everything is a part of the situation. Being a college athlete, that's not for everybody for those reasons, because you need to handle so many things at the same time that could be overwhelming for so many people that probably don't understand how handle some situations that they never handled before. Also, going to the sports side. I mean, you have to be a competitor on the pitch in every single session. I mean, you train 5 times per week. You go to do lifting 2 times per week. On Saturdays, you have to play right now in the spring a program here and there that probably you need to travel 2-3 hours, and play the game, do the best for you, because you are doing basically the foundation that is going to be present in the fall when you have to play against the big people. So have the control of everything like that is not for everybody.
Definitely. And I heard a saying actually not so long, I think it was last week, from a professor saying, being a good player is what gets you on the team, but then your character and who you are is what keeps you on the team. And I think that accounts for what you're mentioning of not just being a good player, which of course you have to be a good player, but then also having these different things that are not only beneficial for you and your development, but are going to be beneficial for the team that you're going to be arriving to, right? And Carlos, I mean, you mentioned how it's very difficult for you as coaches to account for all these things when you're recruiting a player, because there's just so much that you can see. Is there anything that you guys do, or anything that you guys see in that recruitment process that would allow us to at least allow you to get at least a small idea on these different things like character traits, personality traits? Is there anything that you're looking for in that recruitment process?
Well, besides the sporting side, or besides how good is a player on the pitch, how many goals he can score, how good defender he can be, how creative this player can be, we basically put a lot of attention just watching how the kid can compete. If it's a resilient person, if it's a person that is probably blaming others, if he's following instructions that we hear from the bench, we try to collect all that information, that gives you an idea how the person can be in the next level. But also we ask questions to basically every single person in the club. How is the family? How is this kid at the school? You have an idea? No, yes. What is the interest of this kid? Is this kid wants to go to a school like our school, or is a really smart kid that really wants to go to a different place? That wants to go to the Ivy League, for example. Is this guy prioritizing play soccer in college, or is basically more going to a full academic school? So we try to collect a lot of information from the club. Then, if we basically see that is something that we are interested, because many boxes of his profile are there, we invite the kid, of course, to an official visit. The kid come with the parents. We do a tour. In that tour, we ask a lot of questions. We try to see also how is the body language in that walk. If the kid is interested in the university, if you see like they like I don't know, for example, in our school, I don't know if you know, but we are a school that is not a college campus out of the city. I mean, our school is basically part of the downtown of Richmond. So the situation is a little bit particular, So sometimes the kids come and they don't know what VCU is about, because they didn't do their homework and check the campus in a video or picture. And when they come here, it's like, wow, I mean, this is basically in the middle of the traffic, in the middle of the people, plenty of students crossing the streets, So see, those reactions are important, because it's going to give you an idea if the kid really want to come to our environment, to our school, or if it's probably as a one semester thing, which probably we are not going to be interested. So we try to pay attention of everything. The conversation with the parent in that walk is really important too. And then we have a conversation between the coach, assistant coaches, with everybody, with the kid in front, the family in front, and we start to talk about deeper questions about probably not related with soccer, right? It's more about the personal life and try to see if everything match, in the conversation we had before, and the conversation that we are having with them, with mixing the coach and mixing everybody.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting, because I mean, there's a lot of things that people take for granted and they don't really pay attention to, let's say, when they're doing the visit. But I mean, you as coaches, you're trying to get as many cues as possible, because I mean, as you mentioned, you can only see a highlight video. So you want to take advantage of those moments that you can actually interact with them and get as more information as possible. And that's a topic that I definitely want to get to later. But just before going a little bit more on that college part of it, college experience and how to adapt to it, I wanted to ask you, you've been in different projects like On Touch Soccer, also SIMA in Montverde, and there, I mean, I, based on the research that I did, a lot of it is just about building the person not instead, but before the athlete, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit about that philosophy that those programs had, and how they approach the development of a young person alongside sports.
So I'm going to start with Montverde Academy and the program SIMA. SIMA is a soccer institute at Montverde Academy. This is what the name stands for. I spent 8 years in a system that is not easy for the kids. It's not easy for the coaches. It's not easy because the rules and the intensity of the program in every single aspect is not for everybody. I basically learned how to coach there. I mean, I have 13 years of coaching and the 8 years that I feel like I was coaching, or I started coaching, was there. Before arriving there, I blamed the system many times, because I say, how is possible that a kid with 17 years old is not pro? How is possible that a kid with 18 years old is not signing a pro contract? Because I'm coming from South America. And in South America, if you don't sign, in Europe as well, if you don't sign a pro contract with 17, 18 years old, probably you're not going to sign it, right? So the system basically teach me that it's possible to go to college, get a degree, and play professional. This is one of the most beautiful things that you can do in this country that we cannot do in our countries. So with that picture, education started to be, for me, a little bit more present, and I start to give to education more power than anything that I was doing as a coach. So in Montverde Academy, for example, is an international boarding school where 70% of the kids that are part of our program, because it's not for, I mean, the boarding piece is not for everybody. You can live in Orlando, Florida, and you can drive every morning to the school, and it's fine. But 70% of the kids that play soccer in the SIMA program, at least in the 8 years that I worked for them, were boarding school kids. And those, I would say that, I mean, from 65% were international kids.
Really?
So those kids are coming from different environments, and but most of them are coming from families that are wealthy, that can pay the program. The program is super expensive. I'm not going to provide the amount of what is the name, the tuition fee and everything that they do there, because I don't want to do it, but I don't feel correct, but it's expensive program. And basically, when those kids arrive there, they have to change their mindset immediately, because they are going to change their fantastic places that they live around the world, to live in a double bed with somebody else, have a desk everybody, and you have to do your bed every day. If you don't,
It's like almost you're paying to suffer.
Correct. You don't have. I mean, if you don't make your bed, you are going to be in trouble. If you arrive late to breakfast, you are going to be in trouble. If you arrive late to training, you are going to be in trouble. So if you arrive late to class, imagine how bad it's going to be, right?
And you like say what means trouble, to put it into perspective?
What is what? Sorry, Matt.
What means trouble in that case? Like, let's say someone comes late to practice for 10 minutes.
So basically, they have a system that they accumulate hours. So they have like the merits. So for example, I don't know, don't do your bed. You accumulate 2 hours. Those 2 hours, you have to do community service inside of the school. And the community service inside of the school is probably clean dishes at the dining hall. Or is basically, I don't know, collect garbage around the street. You have to do 2 hours. And this is an example, you know. Imagine that if you cheat in a test, it's 24 hours. So 20 hours that you have to spend when in your free time, not in your class time or training time, your free time that you have to spend doing a community service inside of the school. So the method, the discipline is really, really strong. For us as a coaches was no different. You know, you work with a model of game, you work with a methodology, and you work with a system of training that the kids are going to execute things that they never execute in their life, because it's not flexible. I mean, you really go for the objective, and the objective is create college players. This is basically the objective. So in mind the discipline, you have the discipline side. So you are building the person. You have the academic side, because it's one of the best schools in the United States. And you have probably one of the best soccer programs in the country, where you work. I had the opportunity to work with coaches that coach players in La Liga. They were assistant coaches in teams in La Liga, or coaches that were coaches in Africa, for example, in the Emirates, many places. I mean, our staff, coaching staff, was a coaching staff super rich in many ways, because we were coming from different places in the world. I mean, was an international staff coaching, and you learn something new every day from them. So the soccer piece, the football piece was there, super present. So basically, you are building a person that is completely balanced in many aspects. You are building a player that is eligible in the NCAA. So many coaches around the whole country came to our showcases, came to our training sessions, because they know that they are going to find a player that have the discipline, that have the drive, a player that have a really good academic and they are eligible. They are going to find a good player as well that is disciplined tactically. So when you go to a place like that for 8 years, you understand the power of values, building the person, education, and the sport in that specific order. And this is exactly how I live my life as a coach. I don't believe in something else, you know? So for me, again, we come back a little bit to the beginning. If I see a good player, I saw so many already. But have on my eyes, or have the opportunity to interact with a good person, with a person that is have the competition there, a person that is resilient, and a person that is a good player and is a good student, is difficult. It's really difficult.
And I guess
a person that we can check the social media, because this is another aspect that we didn't talk
you know
yet.
that was a question I was gonna ask you. Do you guys check the social media?
But social media is another aspect. Social media say so much. And even to me as a coach, I changed my complete social media, because when I arrived there, the director, one of the things that told me, listen, your social media is not going to help you in this program. And I was like, what? Well, I mean, you have one or other picture here and there that, I mean, I wasn't doing probably anything, but I was with a beer in my hand, for example. I mean, no, it's not possible. You are creating potential college players. You are creating potential professional players. So it's not the example that you can give, celebrating, for example, with a medal. I was coaching club before go to this place, and I had pictures, me with the medal, me with the trophy. No. You are not playing. Players are the kids. The credit is for the kids. So here we don't believe in this. You are giving the tools to these kids to be competitors, and they decide if they apply those tools or not. If they apply the tools, the chances are going to be there to be successful. And those tools are not others than the energy to create something great in the personal side, a good student, and a good player.
Great, and it's just so eye-opening to see how. I mean, I can see a lot of athletes not expecting that the coach would think of social media as something relevant or something important, then just post whatever. But then, as you just mentioned, I mean, you're just trying to get as much content as possible on who this person joining the team is. And now going back to the point of more Montverde, it's basically making the life of coaches easier, because they're putting up a program that is creating, as you mentioned, college players. So you know that when you go to one of these places to look for athletes, they're gonna come already with the abilities that you're looking for, right? And just had a doubt: is this Montverde the same one that has a very good basketball program? That's one of the
correct.
Cooper Flag.
Cooper Flag,
okay.
Kate Cunningham.
Yeah, a lot of guys.
Process.
Yeah. Okay. I just had the doubt if it was the same one or not.
Yeah, same program.
You have the best high school athletes in the country, you have them all concentrated there. And I had the experience to be in IMG Academy around 3 years ago, and I experienced the same thing, and I can see how, like what you were mentioning, it not only builds the athlete, but it builds all the different characteristics or person or traits around the athletes that a coach, that a college coach is looking for. And now that we talked about that development before going to college, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned how a lot of the guys come with a lot of misconceptions to college and they really struggle that first year. What what do you think are some of the reasons for which, let's say, a talented athlete, a talented player still struggles that first year of college, or even not the first year, but it can struggle, it can keep going for all the years. But why do you think that adaptation might be a little bit more to some people, harder to some people?
I feel like it's don't finding the balance. Don't finding the balance of a college athlete. Is so much freedom. I mean, is a kid that is living in one environment, and then from one day to other is not living with, in most of the cases, with their parents, and now they're living a life that is completely independent. So you don't have rules. You create your own rules. You don't have the typical habits at home. You have to create your own habits, or basically apply the habits that you learn at home, and that's not easy. So so many kids come with a really good mindset, but remember, college is not only the soccer team. You met friends everywhere, and not everybody's in the same page that you are. So that new experience is tricky, because you can go to one place or other, and not all the time your choices, since you are young, are going to be the right ones. Probably you need to learn. So not all the kids understand the power in actions versus consequences. Not all the kids understand that every single action is going to have a consequence at the end of the day, and that consequence can be a good consequence if you go for the right direction, but can be just stepping out of the team. Or basically saying, listen, this is not for you. Maybe you should go for a different environment, which is completely, to be fair, is completely fine. The environment of at least of a D1 soccer team is not for everybody. It's not. You can see people that struggle mentally a lot, but I mean, sometimes, like we were talking, sometimes no, only the talent is not enough. So I feel like distractions, to respond, distractions, find the balance, basically go with the right people, stay close to the team, stay close to the roles, the how we can say, the people that lead by example and follow them, instead going sideways, is important.
It's definitely something I went through my first semester, like coming from Germany and then being in the US, like it's a whole new experience.
Yeah.
You said like you have so much free time, you have to make up your own rules. And like in the first semester, I was honest, I did my training and also did extra sessions. I did my school, and afterwards I was just chilling. I didn't have like a real life balance. So let's say I would have got injured in that time, I would have nothing else like to fall back on.
Yeah.
And you just mentioned like D1 level is not for everyone. So maybe everyone who's listening, you can give like the insight. How does a day in the life look like for your athletes?
Day in life depends, of course, of the season. For example, right now we are in the spring season. We are training 5 times per week, and the kids are lifting 2 times per week. We play our first friendly match last Saturday against a professional team, USL1 here from Richmond, the Richmond Kickers. And we are playing 2 games next Saturday, 2 games the same day. So training is basically 7. We pick up the players in our vans at 7:45. Excuse me. And we start training at 8 a.m. And training is 1 hour 45 minutes. After that hour of 45 minutes, depending of the day, the guys have to go and lift, and this is another extra hour, and then they go to class. So basically, I would say that we are lifting right now Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the rest of the days is only the training session, and then go to the school.
I see.
And then let's say someone has to do recovery, they just go to the AT, athletic trainer, and sign in.
Yeah, the athletic trainer is open every day. So some of the guys go to do treatment, which is another thing that we ask and we are checking almost all the time. Who go to treatment? Who don't go to treatment? What are the players that have more tendencies to get injured? If those players going to the recovery sessions, or they are going to do the treatment? No, yes, okay. But the trainer room is open for the guys every day,
So anyone listening out there, every day, morning practice, go to class, go back home, eat right, get the recovery in, and be ready the next morning.
Correct.
And
This is basic.
Going back to what you mentioned, I just think it's so valuable because up until the point that we reach college, there's somebody or something dragging us through a schedule, right? So we just have to react. Let's say it's our mom telling us you have to wake up at 7 a.m. So we just react to that, whether we like it or not, we do it. But now we arrive to a place in which we make our own choices, and we have infinite amount of choices that we can make, and a lot of them can be the wrong ones, as you mentioned, especially being young. You still don't know exactly who you are and what are the things that are the most beneficial to you, so you're kind of like discovering that, and how important it is to just having any sort of routine. It doesn't have to be the perfect one, but just having some sort of structure to your day and to your weeks, that at least give you that level of discipline that allow you to be balanced, as you just mentioned. I just think is a very important point. And now that we're talking about how does it look like to be a player inside the team, we talked earlier about how some athletes come from being the best from where they come from to just being one of 23 or one of however many much you guys have. What do you see are the biggest struggles that some guys have in this area, and what are some guys, what do some guys that are able to navigate through this do to just get off that star mentality and just be a team player?
Well, I think that to describe that situation, you have to go a little bit back.
Okay.
You have to go to basically every single player in the country that is in the youth soccer or the youth academies wants to play in a D1 school, okay, besides play pro. This is the desire of everybody. So the player don't understand the level until they watch a match. And unfortunately, those kids don't watch college soccer, so they don't know how the level is. So what happened is, if I'm the best player in my team, and I send you an email, you are the coach, and I send you an email, I'm totally confident that you are going to read my email and you are going to give me an opportunity, because I don't know what is happening on your side. I don't have an idea about anything that is happening there. Also, the kids don't have an idea how many emails we receive daily with videos. And again, I respect every single kid and the time of every single kid, but you can see easily, just reading few lines, who is basically talking about something serious, something that you need to watch, something that you need to pay attention, and who is basically trying to find an opportunity no matter what. So when you finally you pay attention to one specific profile, and you see that the kid is good, you understand because you are in both, you were in one side and now you are in the other side, right? And you know what you are looking. You understand what the kid is gonna, how the kid is gonna be. You know, you can also say this kid the first year is gonna play. You can say I'm getting this kid because I know he's gonna play in the year 2 or he's gonna play in the year 3. That happened, but the kid feel like in the moment the kid feel like can play immediately because he is the best player of the team. He never faced a different environment. So many times, and you don't have to be a D1 because you don't have to be a D1 school. Many times college teams you can see how they look, and they look like a professional team. They look like a professional team because the quality of the player is so high that you can basically say, wow, I mean, I'm around players that I never play around. So this is the first training session in the summertime, you know. This is when you taste the level. And then the first game. Because in preseason, everybody's going to play. You want to see that kid that you signed for this youth academy that apparently was super good. And when you see the kid in front of, I don't know, 500 people, 600 people in a college game, to go down because you go to other places and you play against more and more people, the kid immediately realized that they had a different idea about the college game and their own level, you know. So this is immediately a way that they need to struggle. So what is happening there? If you don't recruit the kid with the character, the drive, and the competition in their head, and I'm going to mention the word competition, guys, a lot tonight because this is something that for me is a non-negotiable. You can say I recruit a kid that have the drive to, you know, to get a hit, but at the same time to go and keep going, you know, stand up and keep going. This is your feeling, or has to be your feeling as a coach that recruit a kid. Now, sometimes the kid never stand up, you know. The kid stand up, try to play, and I mean, the environment is too much. So with those guys, you have to be patient. But in some point, it's not about you. Sometimes it's about them. And you see them struggling every single day. So in some point, you have to talk to them and say, listen, probably this is not for you. I love you. I feel like you are a fantastic guy. You're a fantastic person. But probably you have to understand what is the reason that those kids are here or there. And if they come to a place that they want to play soccer, they want to play. They don't want to be sitting on the bench. They don't want to be training guys their whole life. So probably going to a different level is going to give the opportunity to play and enjoy the game and be part of something, you know, and be probably the main guy that you are not here or there. So the struggle is real, but only the people that can handle it is going to be successful with their college career.
Definitely.
If they cannot handle it, it's not going to work.
Yeah, I really like the approach that you had in there, and I think, and this is why I believe also that the mental part is so important, because I think there's also an identity problem in there, in which the guy has always identified himself as the best player on the team. So when he arrives to an environment in which that identity is not true anymore, well, that person is left in a space in which they don't know who they are, and that's why they don't know how to react to it. And I just think that a lot of athletes should, instead of like focusing on, oh, am I the best on the team, how was my performance at the end, how was my outcome, but focusing more on how am I showing up. Okay, am I being the hardest working, am I being the one that's more in a frame of mind to learn, you know, instead of focusing on shaping my identity on who am I, shaping it on what do I do, what are the things that I do in order to become maybe that person. And I think there's a component of humility in there as well, of just
100%.
acknowledging
100%.
that there's something else to learn, right? Because yeah, people might think, yeah, I have to be confident or whatever. I mean, that's one thing doesn't take the other. You can be confident but still be humble to
Mhm.
recognize that there's something to learn and that there's always something to get out of every situation, right?
Yeah, the word resilience is another one that I use a lot,
Definitely love it.
how resilient you can be. You are going
Mm-hmm.
to face adversity in the soccer pitch almost every day, in every single game, in every single training session. If the challenge is not there, you are playing a different sport. You are playing probably something that is not what we are make you to play. You know, so so that's important. That's for me the main reason. We need to educate to potential college players to go to watch any level of college soccer, any level, and understand how the level is, understand how the game is, how fast it is, how the spaces are, how you know, and how competitive you need to be there. This is something that we are missing, unfortunately. That part of the culture, you know.
I think it's also really important. Always, like people say, like it's bad to compare yourself, but I always like I see people like sitting on a bench and saying, like they're comparing the people like who are playing and like, oh, I'm way better than him in, let's say, passing, for example. But you can just switch it around and see like what is he better than you, and like then you can see what you have to improve on. It's just a different side of mindset. And I think also like with college sport especially, the culture thing is such a big thing because you might have a coach from England or you have an American coach.
Mhm.
Like you have to buy into the system, and also like at a high level, they're international guys. So every team has a total different culture, like maybe your high school team or like your local high school team.
Oh, Carlos,
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean, being an athlete and in hearing the conversations that athletes ourselves have, I just see a lot of entitlement in all those conversations of guys that think they should be playing, that they should be there, that they deserve it. But
Mhm.
sometimes it's like, in the back of my head is like, yeah, man, but you're not, like there's a reason for which you're not playing. It's not because the coach doesn't like you. Like there's a reason. If you could frame it to okay, what can I do to start playing instead of just going to yourself and saying, oh man, this coach is so bad. He doesn't know what he's doing, which is something that I hear a lot. And you can frame it and put it, okay, what can I do to get better? Like what's under my control? And I think that's you have way more chances to actually play than just sitting in the back and just blaming the coach. It just happens. This second one just happens to be way easier, and it feels a little bit more comfortable for the athlete. And Carlos, now go changing a little bit topics. You've always mentioned how education became like one of the biggest things uh, from you all the way from that experience in Montverde. What are some of the things that you make your like are non-negotiables academically in VCU for the athletes?
For me, one of the things that we have is we have a study hall program that I think exists in every single school, um, and and for us, it's important to make our athletes understand how that space is going to be for them. Especially because you create a habit, especially to go to a place and go and check your classes and try to put on top stuff that you need to. The GPA, of course, is something that is super important as well. Every single athletic program in the school have a quote unquote academic competition about the GPA. And for me, I mean, this is me talking. I feel proud when I see that I'm representing a program and the GPA is over 3 something, and we can feel like, yeah, our kids are not only athletes, are really strong academically, are smart kids, and And going a little bit deeper, I think that education is going to make you better on the field as well. The way that you are going to fix situations or you are going to solve problems on the field is technically coming from here. So if you put in your brain to do some exercises, to analyze situations, you are going to be way better. So that's why also I give the power of education, or I put education on top all the time. So for me, at least, is super important. Is something that is a non-negotiable also, for many reasons. And one of the reasons that I feel like is important as well is, remember, our career as a college players is gonna end in some point. If we have the fortune, or we are fortunate to say, okay, we are going to be now a pro player, fantastic. But probably that is not going to happen. And probably I need to, find a job and be the best in what I'm doing. If I'm going to be an engineer, I have to be the best engineer. A doctor, I have to be a doctor. Accountant, I have to be an accountant, a good accountant. So the academic piece is gonna be with you your whole life, and no matter what you do, inside or outside of the sport. So
Definitely. I think something that definitely a lot of people put aside, and I mean, yeah, you of course you're gonna have your priority. Maybe you want to prioritize soccer a little bit more in college, but that doesn't mean putting the academic part aside. Because what I see is a lot of guys just focusing 100% in the sport part, and then nothing in the education part. And as you mentioned, some of them, I mean, most of them don't have the fortune of going pro afterwards. And it's like, yeah, you went very hard on soccer, but now it's not part of your life anymore. So what do you have? And a lot of the time is like no education, because you didn't necessarily do anything in the education part of it. So I just think it's very important to stress on it. Were you gonna say anything, Matze?
Yeah, I wanted to add one more thing. Like Carlos also mentioned, like it's good for like the mental game. I think also like going into the game and knowing you don't have to do any homework anymore. It's so much more relaxed than going into the game. It's like, okay, I have to drive back home and then I have to my, I don't know, math homework.
Definitely.
It's what my shout out to my assistant coach. He always said that. So, yeah, it definitely helps.
Definitely.
Also, like having like just the education, like academic part. If you good in academic part, I think you can play with more freedom.
Yeah.
Like not fully stressed on football and have like a second leg.
Of course.
In mind, I mean, you describe it perfectly. Is part of the balance, right? I mean, in mind that your head is only about the sport. It's only about the sport. It's only about the sport, but you are not a professional player. Makes sense. If you are a professional player, yes, you probably need to balance your life to get the best performance. But when you are a college athlete, you have many ways to diversificate your life, to be diverse in many aspects that at the end of the day are only going to your development. Make sense? The academic side is going to be a big piece in your development. The soccer side is going to be another big piece in your development. To play in a school, you need to achieve some standards. In mind that an international player that come here with no English, and we give them 2 semesters to do a test and be if you are eligible to take real classes or not. If you are not eligible, see you later. It's done, and you can be the best player. Makes sense what I'm saying? So everything has a balance all the time, and it's a big piece for everything. What is bringing you to the school is the soccer piece, because okay, he's a good player. We give the opportunity to go to the school and have some classes and get a degree. But if you stop doing one thing, it's not going to work at the end of the day. Any one or other. So
definitely, Carlos. And I just think I've been thinking about okay, what's gonna be the name of the episode? And it's definitely gonna be the blueprint to get to college athletics. I just think you pointed out so many important things that young athletes don't necessarily do the right way, and if they just have this level of information about what you've been just talking about, they can start shaping their way into college and making it into a way more way better experience, not only in terms that it's fun or they get better results, but then like it's gonna affect their development in a better way. So I just think a lot of the aspects and a lot of the topics that you just mentioned are super super important. Now, if you're okay with that, would you be able to go with some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, for sure. Let's see
Perfect.
what I can do.
So Carlos, what is the number one mistake that athletes make in their first call with the coach?
In the first call to the coach, probably say that they don't know anything about the program. That happen a lot. For example, if somebody called me and I say, do you know how the team play? No. What system the team play? Did you watch the team play? No. Do you know something about the school? No. Huge red flag there.
Oh, it's good.
It's like with dating. Interest has to come from both sides.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I'm spending time watching you play. I'm going to see you playing live. I'm going to, I see your video, your highlights, and what I expect is you have to know something about me. I'm getting information that you are providing me about you, but if you don't know anything about me, we don't have a relationship.
It also shows a lot about the character. Like a good player wants to go to a team which suits his play style, or like a good team. Like he doesn't go anywhere, just anywhere. Okay, Carlos, if a kid is sitting on the bench right now, what is the first thing they should say to their coach tomorrow morning?
If a player stay the whole time on the bench, you say?
Yeah, let's say there's a player sitting on a bench right now. What would you want him to say to you the next morning?
I feel like more than tell me something, is show me that he doesn't belong to be on the bench and prove me wrong. But probably, I don't know if I'm responding correctly though.
No, like
Yeah.
like showing why you should play instead of like asking what's wrong.
I think that's
Okay.
perfect.
Okay, if a player asks me what's wrong, why I'm not playing.
Yeah.
So basically, I would say the reasons, and the reasons can be many. But I invite the player to see the video of the training sessions, and probably if they play already a match, see the match as well, and take their own conclusions. Or invite him to do a video session with me, and I can explain what he's missing. Why he's not translating the information that what we are giving to him on the field. It's always something, but basically, I feel like use the film to provide information about any decision that the staff is taking is important.
Perfect. It just goes back to that entitlement that some guys have of just thinking they deserve to play, but they haven't necessarily analyzed how the situation is. And Carlos, I mean, this is a topic that I'm really interested in on. There's some coaches that approach the coach-player relationship as me versus them. There's some coaches that are very like involved with the team, and it's almost like another teammate. What do you think? How do you think that relationship should be balanced between the coach and the athlete? Of course, there has to be some boundaries, but like, how do you think there has to be the approach?
I think if you have a staff with assistant coaches that can be close to the group, is you can build a good relationship using them as a bridge. I feel like the coach has always to keep in mind the human side of the player. Understand that we are humans, right? Understand that the kids are not players only. Understand that the kids are going to make mistakes. Understand that the kids are going to come one day, and probably they don't have the head in on the field, and they have the head in a different situation. Identify what is the moment of the player, good or bad, is important, and establish a relationship with the player is important as well. Now, how far you can go with that, I think is specific for every single person. When I had the opportunity to coach my own team, I'm super close of the players because if I'm going to give you, if I'm going to tell you something that you are not going to like, you have to understand that I'm coming from the best place to tell you that bad news, or that or tell you something that you are not going to like. Not like I'm in a place that I don't care about you and this is why I'm telling you this. No, because I care is because I'm going to try to help you, and the best way to help you is probably telling you something that you are not going to like. So being close and understand all the time how the relationship is, and the player understand how is my relationship with them, is super important.
Perfect.
We talked a lot about recruiting. What's the first thing you see when recruiting a player?
How good they are, how good they are on the pitch. Is
So the highlight
is
video.
a highlight video, or when we go to showcases and we watch specific teams or specific players that we know they are good. Yes, we want to see a good performance. We want
And
to see abilities that can translate to the game that we play.
And I always wanted to know, like, out of a coach's perspective, what makes a good highlight video? So, like, any good structure, quality?
That's an amazing question because the kids don't have an idea. I would say that number one, the duration of that video cannot be more than 3 minutes. And the best recommendation that I can give a kid is that he has to show that specific thing that he do over and over again and is successful. Make sense what I'm saying? So if you give me different perspective and you put me videos, many kids don't know, but I feel like this is a tool that we are going to use to help those kids. Many times we see videos where the kid is playing 3 different positions. I don't know what you specifically do. You know what I mean? So basically, imagine that you are a player that you are really good breaking lines with your pass, and you have plenty of clips breaking lines and creating successful actions, that finishing something. Don't send me a video where you are breaking lines and you are dribbling or trying to dribbling kids or no. Give me the opportunity to see what is your best attribute, which is breaking lines. I don't mind to see 10 or 15 clips, show me those clips, show me how you defend, and your abilities. If you are an attacking player, your ability to finish plays, your abilities to go to the frame and finish a play. That would be amazing. So showcase your best ability is super, super important. And I promise you, showcase your best ability is not going to give you a video of 10 minutes. It's not. It's going to give you a short video and it's going to showcase yourself in the best way possible.
I think this
Music is important too. Huh? Music is important. Sometimes those kids put the most rap song with bad words in that, and immediately it's like, I cannot listen to this.
You can put a song request now if someone wants to go to VCU.
What?
You can put your song requests in the video now.
Yeah, exactly. You put it in the locker room with your friends or at your apartment, 100%.
This I think if people just watch these 3 minutes that you just talked about, they will like increase their chances of at least getting seen by a coach, and I just definitely a mistake that I made. Probably my first one was like 10 minutes or something like that, and like no structure to it. So I wish I would have heard this earlier though.
Yeah.
And Carlos, if a player, I mean, we kind of talked about this a little bit, but if a player is a star, like he's super good, not only where he comes from, but he's performing very good in the actually in the team now that he's arrived to college. Uh, he's actually one of the best, but he's not necessarily the best one for the locker room. Does he still have a place in the team?
He has to score 20 goals per season.
I see.
It's not in mind that you have a guy that is a good player. Number one, to be in a locker room with another 25 guys, we have 26 players. To be in a locker room, and I'm going to talk about BCU because it's the environment that I have every day. If you want to be in a locker room of BCU with 25 guys, you have to be a good player. I mean, if you're a bad player, you're not going to have the opportunity to be there. So if you don't know how to behave with 25 guys that have a main goal every year to go as far as they can, represent themselves, represent the program, and try to put their names in something that tomorrow gives them the opportunity to go to the next level, you're going to be there. And the same environment is going to put you in a situation that you are going to understand that this is not your place and you have to go somewhere else. I feel like is one of the most important things that I'm living every day in with this group of players, that every single of them is a good person. Every single of them. I cannot say the opposite because it's incredible.
That's great.
So I feel like that win games, that situation win games. See guys that are training like a beast every day, win games, definitely. So
That's great. How should a player react to a teammate's mistake?
So repeat again, Matt, sorry.
How should a player react to a teammate's mistake? Let's say in a game, someone
complaining or something like that. Okay, happen a lot. But again, this is when we return that you need to know the person to understand from where these words are coming. If you are my best friend and I care about you, and I say something that probably is not appropriate, I need to give you an apology, but I need to explain you why I did that. And at the same time, you need to understand that my words don't come from a wrong place. Probably I was calling your attention or I was trying to react better. Now, to be honest, it's not common in us to see that. It's not something that I see often lately. Of course, when I was working in Montverde, when I was working in club soccer, you see that a lot because they are young players. The inexperience put the kids in those situations. But of course, I mean, it's not a secret. You guys are players. If I blame on you, I'm not going to make you better. I'm going to put some tension in your head that is going to make you react probably in a worse way or in a more negative way. So when you play in this kind of environment, you need to respect that space. Probably, hey man, let's do it. Wake up. Use other words that probably are going to let you know that yeah, it's time to react. You are not competing well today. We have to try to compete. These kind of things. But I'm against that. Personally, completely.
Perfect. And Carlos, what is one thing that you wish that a lot of parents understood better about the recruiting process?
Understand the level, the level of the place that they are pretending to see their kids going as a next step. Understand that we have to educate the kids using the sport as a tool for life. That is not about how many trophies and medals you can win. It's about how resilient you can be, how competitive the sport is making you. and how the strong are going to be your decisions at the end of the day using soccer as a tool. So if you educate your kid playing sports and you basically tell them or you educate them that this is a way to achieve a goal tomorrow, you are doing something that is correct. But if you are living the present only, you are creating somebody that is not ready to face the life or face the challenges that those guys are going to have in the next step that they take.
Perfect.
Great.
Yeah.
Carlos, you gave some awesome advice so far, but can you finalize one final advice for any young athlete out there?
I feel like the preparation is the key, the responsibility is the key, the character is the key. It's many aspects that are more relative with your personal life than the sport that you have to take care and then think how good you are on the pitch. So take care of your personal life, take care of yourself, be a good person no matter what, and work more than anybody, because sometimes we don't have the talent that other people, but working we can achieve more goals than those talented. So the kids and even us as an adults, we have the right to dream, the right to pursue a different life, but we have to understand that we have to work for it and we have to go for it. And even being kids, this is not different for anybody.
Perfect.
That's my advice.
Perfect. I think you just finished it off the best way possible, just outlining the importance of preparation and of just working, not just being thinking that you deserve being there without necessarily putting in the work. And I just think the value that you provided to us and the information that you gave to us, not only to us, but then just for everybody watching, is so valuable. And I just think there's a lot of things that a lot of young athletes get wrong, that they don't necessarily understand. I don't know, maybe they have misconceptions about how things work, or perhaps they don't get this type of information anywhere else. So I just think you coming here and sharing that experience, that information that you have from somebody working on the field is super valuable. So Carlos, I truly appreciate your time and just your willingness to share your experience and your knowledge. So again, I really appreciate you and looking forward to speak again.
Yes.
For sure.
Thank you very much, Carlos. Also on my behalf, it was amazing. Like, it's always nice to see the perspective of a coach, but like as a player, you always see, oh, why is the coach doing this? Why is he doing that? But in the end, like, it often makes sense, and in your case, it definitely made sense what you were explaining. So
Awesome.
we appreciate your time. Thank you
Well,
very much.
Camilo and Matt, thanks for having me, and let's talk in a different opportunity again. All right.
Definitely.
Thank you so much.